Good afternoon and welcome to day 3 coverage of the BC Card Hankyung Ladies Cup, staged once again here at formidable Fortune Hills Country Club. I'm Timothy Lowe, welcoming you along to a rather wet afternoon of golf. The cut came at 1 under par at the end of 36. All 65 players continuing their progress to the play for pay rounds this week. Kim Min Sol taking a 2-shot lead into the weekend after a course record 62 in the opening round. Backed that up with a 66 yesterday, but she has got some major quality company alongside her for day 3 in the form of Lee Daeon and Roh Seung Hui, a couple of major champions here domestically. Bit of moving and shaking at the top of the leaderboard already. Daeon and Min Sol have flip-flopped. The former 1 under par for her day. Kim Min Sol, couple over. So 1-shot lead for Lee Daeon. Roh Seung Hui a shot further back, and she's got a good opportunity to find a birdie there at 8. Now in the penultimate group, Jung Yoon Ji only made 1 bogey yesterday in her round of 65. She's 1 under for her day. Just a little shy there. Well, the weather was overcast and a little bit cooler on Thursday. It was beautiful on Friday afternoon, perhaps a little warm as well, but a very different story as we start the weekend. A persistent drizzle that has pestered the players all throughout the day so far. Now Daeon leading by 1. Good position here, but she's just come out of that. Hung it a little right, but still give herself a half-decent opportunity. Actually had a 2-shot lead at one point before a drop shot at the 5th. Bogeys are going to be tough to keep off the scorecard today. Ga-young's made 3 birdies. Up at 12 under par alongside Jung Yoon Ji. Just a skip forward on the 9th, but a birdie look for Ga-young. Min Sol, no stranger to being in the final group on a weekend. Just through the fairway here at 8. It's tricky to judge how the balls are going to come out with this wet rough. Perhaps expecting a bit more jump from there, but she's done the right thing, kept it underneath the hole. Grandstand finish for Min Sol on Thursday. 4 birdies and an eagle to close, setting the new course record here at Fortune Hills with that 62. Park Ju-young. Right rough on 9. Got to pitch this short of the green. Hope for a friendly kick. Didn't get it. Got to find Pang Shin-sil, who's having a much better day with the flat stick than what we saw on day 2. Shin-sil already picked up 6 birdies today, making a huge move up the leaderboard. So too Kim Min Bol, both of them 5 under par for their respective rounds and sharing 6th with Ju-young. Already tasted victory on tour this season, Shin-sil, at the Nexen St. Nine Masters. Now to 11, the downhill par 3. Here's the other player who's been red hot today, Kim Min Bol. Birdie chance from outside of 35 feet, tracking nicely, just going to pull up short. Well, good to see the dour conditions haven't dampened the Kim Min Bol fan club, making their presence felt as their player continues her steady progress up the leaderboard. And with Kim Min Sol's struggles, it's really opened the door for a host of other players. It looked like she was running away with this championship at the halfway stage, but not the case. It's Daeon who leads at 15 under par. No less than 13 players within 6 shots, and still so much golf to play here at Fortune Hills. Chance to extend that lead coming up for Daeon at 8. so just short of the green. The lie looks okay for Jung Yoon-ji. Should be a fairly elementary little pitch shot. Min-sol could certainly use a birdie sooner rather than later, just to steady the ship. Got 2 shots in her first 4 holes, been on a string of pars since. I just wonder if that added moisture on the greens perhaps affecting the players slightly, certainly pace-wise. Ju Young, like a bit of a thicker lie. She's got that one up nice. And she's judged the release pretty well. 25 years of age now. Park Ju Young waited a long time for that first victory, and what an emotional one it was at Suwon Valley, the Daibo House D Open a couple of years ago. 279th start on tour. Now Seung Hui balances her books for Saturday, up into a tie for second. Kim Min-sol. Up to 9, and Lee Ga-young, birdie effort, looks uphill from her left. Excellent putt. Oh, desperately unlucky for Lee Ga-young. But doing KLPGA Tour commentary for a number of years now, Ga-young's got to have some of the loudest supporters on the tour. Certainly can hear when she's playing well. The chance of fighting can be heard echoing around the golf course. Min-sol in for her part. Only player inside the top 15 who's over par for their 3rd round. Now Yoon-ji, important putt. Don't want to be giving up shots on a golf course like this. Yeah, well read, nicely stroked. Turns in 1 under par 35. Jung Yoon-ji already a winner on tour this season. And for Lee Da-yeon, it's the driver out on 9. Has not won since her playoff victory against Minji Lee and Patty Tavatanakit at Bears Best in September 2023 in a Financial Group Championship a couple of years ago. She's in the box seat now. See the steady rain falling as Seung Hui takes to the tee at the 9, so the course is going to play a smidge longer. A minimal run coming from the fairways, although that got a good hop, skip and a jump for Roh. She's had some great success on the secondary tour in South Korea, the Dream Tour. 4 wins, 6 top 10s, and just 12 starts. Not a single missed cut this season. Kim Min Sol. Chance to remind herself, yes, she was leading coming into the day, but even with some poor play, she's only 1 shot behind Lee Daeon. 28 holes left to play. As Jun Yuri, one of the 65 players who made the halfway cut at 1 under par, started on the back 9 today, just making the turn here on the first. Goodness, it is really starting to shut down on the players now. Look at that rain. As long as there's no electrical activity overhead and there's no standing water on the golf course, play will continue. So fingers crossed we don't get that. This is just a passing shower. Talk about that golf course playing longer. Mundo, one of the longer hitters on tour, having to come into 12 with a hybrid. Oh, goodness, and that is not what you needed to see. I don't think that's in the penalty area, maybe just in that grassed out area on the upslope. It is going to be a real test for the players. Meanwhile, only a couple of holes back, it's just a gentle drizzle for Ro Seong Hui at 9. The rain is really starting to come down hard now for the players. Of course, that's the dichotomy of summertime golf. Wherever you are in the world, it can be unbearably hot when you get too much heat rising up for the ground, a little cloud cover, and more often than not, that equates to a lot of rain. Yeah, a real test of patience and skill for these ladies this afternoon. Not the worst spot to leave it. 9 for Lee Daeon. Ball's not going to be flying quite as far. A lot more friction to deal with as it makes its way through these raindrops. Now Kim Min Sun 7 and alongside Kim Min Bol. Going early doors, 4 under through the first 7, and dropped a shot at 9. Still 3 under for her round, clinging on inside the top 10. Much more height on that and goals, and manages to find the putting surface. So what was a birdie bonanza over the first 36 holes was just turned into a bit of a war of attrition given the vast, stark change in playing conditions this Saturday. Insult, big tee shot, just a wedge in hand. Still got to try and pitch this just past the front edge. Expect a slightly bigger first kick. Okay, not bad there. Remarkable to think how the narrative in the players' minds would have changed. First couple of days. You're not making birdies, you're going back. Playing conditions on Saturday afternoon, par is your friend. It's Dion who leads by 1 over Seong Hui and 36-hole championship leader Kim Min Sol. Yunji and Gaiyong rounding out your top 5. Seong Hui just coming up a little short with the second at the 9. Pretty simple little chip here. Not a green to work with. Reigning Helen Masters champion. Picked up the title for her 3rd win on tour to go alongside the Korea Women's Open up to the par 5 13 and the 3rd shot of Bang Shin Sil up the slope. Yeah, did the right thing. I'm sure she erred on the side of being a little long, keeping it on that upper plateau. Can't die on. He was so efficient around the greens. Just as I say that, stubs on a little short and leaves herself a testy one. That doesn't drop, but have a 3-way tie for the lead very quickly. Now Minbel ball stayed out of the penalty area. Pitching from well below the surface of the green, always going to make things a little tricky. normal circumstances, this should be a fairly slow putt from Insult. Just past the pin at 9. Good speed, good pace on that one. That's really what you want to see. Lag putting somewhere inside a 2-foot circle, you've done well. First look of the day at Kim Soo-ji, the Autumn Queen on the KLPGA Tour, because 6 of her wins have come in the second half of the year. 1 under par for her round is Soo-ji as she makes the turn. Disappointing finish to Friday, bogeying the par 5 18th hole from just off the front of the green. Now Daeyeon took the hard work of those early birdies. I want to give back another shot here at 9. Just for par. Right to left. Hasn't hit it. Just hasn't hit it. So a 3-way tie at 14 under par. Bringing more players back into the equation. One of them is Kim Min-bol, but she's facing this for par at 12. Good save. Really good up and down. Kim Min-bol keeps the card clean. It deserves more than a pat on the back. Still got to stay switched on with these. Roh Seung-hui. Okay, very good. Consolidates her birdie on 8 with a up and down par at 9. So the final 3 players on the golf course all sit at 14 under par, heading into the back 9 on Saturday. Solid second from Soo-ji into the 10th. Oh, stubbornly. That one just hangs on the lip. Your final group of Roh Seung-hui, Kim Min-sol and Lee Daeyeon just making their way to start the back 9. It's an interesting homeward half here at Fortune Hills in that you have 3 par 5s, 3 par 3s and 3 par 4s. You start with a par 5 on the 10th, you end with one on 18. And even with the slightly friendlier pin position on the 10th today, still have to hit 3 good shots to make a birdie. Unfortunately for Park Ju-young, it looks like she's fanned a shot well out to the right, ended up in some weeds. It looks like she's taken an unplayable. She'll mark the position of her golf ball, and she gets 2 club lengths from there. I don't think that's marked as a flower bed, so that should be a penalty drop. We'll check back in on Ju-young in a moment. First up to Shin-sil, and thankfully The rain appears to have abated over Fortune Hills. Still doesn't make the conditions any easier. It's awfully muggy out there right now. And you see the shape of this 10th hole. Just a gradual movement from right to left. Left fairway bunker. Something to be avoided. Loads of room out right, and again at this length, playing over 510 meters. Everyone knows that they're going to have to play this as a 3-shotter. Days like these with wet rough really puts a premium on driving accuracy. Hopefully that the string of pars would have settled down Kim Min Sol somewhat. Puts herself back in a tie for the lead. So just teeing that ball down a little bit. Often see professionals do that, just try to keep the ball flight down. Minimize your dispersion. Should be a little fairway finder for Kim. Didn't really go after that, but still will end up in the left rough. Off a die on. Yes, she'll be irritated with the bogey on 9, but we'll be thinking about that. Most important shot in golf is, well, the next one. Understandably so, just making sure she aims this one down the right edge of the fairway. Exactly what she would have been looking for. Further up the hole, third shot for Jung Yoon Ji. Good angle, left half of the fairway. Try to get close to this right pin position. Got some good grab on that, but to her detriment, just pulling that away from the flagstick still. Nicely controlled for distance. Ahead at 11, Kim Soo Ji. She's really worked hard to try and neutralize that swing path and club face through impact. Used to hit big slinging hooks. Now has the ability to sort of work it the other way with a cut. She said it just gives her a little bit more control. Ga Young in the company of Yoon Ji. A few yards closer, this one on a much higher flight and a much better result. Beautiful for Lee Ga Young. So Park Ju-young took that unplayable, so now playing 4. I mean, this ball is almost shin height. So easy to tug this left with a flatter swing plane. Got aim well out to the right and just trust it. In all honesty, managed pretty well from there. It wasn't the easiest, but we'll have to get up and down just to try and limit the damage. Im Hee Jung, two-time major champion who's lost her way in the game a little over the last few years. Coming off her first bogey of the day, so she's back where she began the weekend at 8 under. Soft little flighted 6-iron on the way for Hankyung. Well done. You see the task. You're just trying to get it past that second hump in the fairway. It's about 190 meters from this spot. You get over that. Try and leave yourself a little bit of a flatter lie. Push it into the right rough. You could have some issues. Just so good with her fairway woods, isn't she? Roh Seung-hui leaves it a perfect angle that we saw Jung Yoon-ji and Lee Ga-young find in the group ahead. Now Daeyeon falls a little above her feet, which tends to put a bit more draw spin on the ball. Certainly started that one far enough right, but here it comes, slinging round. Tell you what, technology really has made the game so much easier, particularly from the rough. You know, the sole design on these modern golf clubs, the fairway woods, and particularly hybrids like the one that Kim Min-sol has here, you just chop through the rough so much easier. Don't have to manipulate too much to make solid contact. Okay, back into play is the overnight leader. Now finds herself tied with her two playing partners, Lee Daeyeon and Roh Seung-hui. Don't need to be a hero here, Chu Yong. To try and hold this. Flick it up somewhere near the hole, give yourself a reasonable putt. Maybe 2 or 3 feet outside of where she would have liked, but still a well-played pitch. Have that for bogey. Now to 14, and Bang Shin-sil with his hole on the right-hand side. It really calls for a little cut to try and access. Shin-sil looking like she's taking dead aim at this. Does tend to miss the odd shot out to the right every now and then. She stayed over the top of the ball nicely there. Yeah, good play. Back at 10, and Jung Yoon-ji to inch herself closer to the trio of leaders. Aggressive second, third shot, and a beautifully played one at that for Ga-young. Has left her this for birdie. Just looked a little left, so can't capitalise there. Ga-young, she'll have to be content staying at 12 under. Up to 11, and Suji for birdie. Got a good line on it. Oof. Shaves the right edge. Has been chopping and changing putter choices over the last couple of weeks. Kim Soo-ji primarily putted with a mallet putter, that specifically the Odyssey number 7, but she's gone to a more traditional blade look this week as Park Ju-young pays a heavy penalty for a miscue with her second. A double bogey 7 undoes all the hard work she put together on the first couple of holes. Still inside the top 10, still within 5. Yimji, a little racy with that birdie effort. So a knee knocker remaining for her par. Okay, it's in. Only just, but it's a 5. Yeah, Hee-jung. Yeah, good positive stroke from Im Hee-jung. Target clear up ahead on the green, so Ro Seong-hui first to play. This 10th green sits a little above the level of the fairway, so you see you've got to add on almost 4 meters extra to your yardage for elevation. Shot playing about 120, Seong-hui trying to pitch it somewhere in the 115, 116 vicinity and have it release. Okay, pretty solid. Kim Min-bill. He's laid it up quite a ways back on the 13th. Can she get it up onto the proper plateau? It needs to keep releasing. It's not going to. That'll funnel back towards the front of the green. It's a pretty steep slope to that back ledge, as I was describing. The only thing Kim Min-sol's got to be wary of is just the amount of spin she can create, particularly with wedges, especially when you're on an upslope. I expect her to land this pin high and just past the pin. She'll actually sit at a fraction left. Okay, not her best, but certainly not her worst. I've always said I really like the golf swing of Lee Da-yeon. Just technically very sound. It's good width at the top of her backswing. I think what's going to be beneficial for her in these conditions is she's a little bit shallower into the ball than most of her peers on tour, so she can control that spin better. Those Park Hankyung levels of shallow through the impact zone. That sounded like a good strike. Maybe they're done with half a club more given the softness of the greens, but not bad. Shin-sil after that good tee shot into the par 3 14th. Now a birdie opportunity for the 3-time winner on tour. Can't be disappointed with pars on a day like this. ENG with her iron blade. She can take it pretty much straight at this left pin. See, she's got that black FootJoy rain glove on. If you never tried one of those and you do play in some damp conditions, give it a whirl. You'd be surprised at the amount of grip that you can get. The tackiness of it. Jumping G, pulling it wild to the left. Actually got lucky that didn't kick into a bush, which is not going to have much of a stance, even though she's going to get free relief off the cart path. So curious to see what she's going to do when she gets up. There's Min-bill's birdie putt. Rolls up to about 2.5 feet at 13. Good judgment of pace. Never easy to do on wet greens. Coming up a tier. Guy, I'm just going to put out of your mind what you've seen Yunji do just a couple of moments ago. Keep this one out right of the flag. Yep, she will take that. Not her best wedge shot she's hit this week. Certainly not this year. Kim Min-sol. Slightly uphill look for birdie. Just outside of the 20-foot mark. That's pretty good. Just a touch left. But again, that's okay. The par's not going to hurt you today. Especially think about the extra pressure you face coming into the weekend as your leader, looking for a first tour title. Now Kim In-sun 7th from the correct level of the 13th green. This one working gently downhill, should start to go left there. Dion would have noted how Kim Min-sol's putt reacted around the hole, so just a little bit further right of where she would normally aim. Hit it too hard. Opened her week with back-to-back rounds of 65 for Roh Seung-hui. She'll take anything in the 60s today. I promise you that. In fact, anything under par will be a pretty solid result. Not a single player in this final group under par right now. And that trend continues. It's all 2 over for her round. You've got to go all the way down to the rookie Kim Si-hyun to find the next player over par. Si-hyun back in a share of 39th. Kills in that birdie nicely. The 13th. We saw Chung Yun-ji here. Almost this exact same spot putting for par. We know it tries to dive a little right just at the end. So I would say inside left half with good firm pace is what Lee Daeon needs right now. It's a much easier par putt than the one she just slipped by on the previous green. Okay, center cup, no mistakes for Daeon. Remains at 14 under. Goes through that routine that never changes for Roh Seung-hui. Sticking to her guns, leaving the flagstick in no matter how short. That first putt. Like Daeon, this needs to be started just about left center. Key to Just being consistent and eliminating little mistakes with these short putts. When I say short, sort of anything inside of 8 feet, really. Just see that triangle that forms between her shoulders and those arms. You're just trying to rock that triangle. No flicking of the wrist, no movement of the head. Just straight back, straight through, and pick it out of the bottom of the cup. Yeah, Shinsil round the corner on 15. One of the shortest second shots I've seen into this hole this week. It's just a strong sand wedge from 88 meters. So a trio at 14 under par set the pace here in the 11th edition of the BC Card Hankyung Ladies Cup. It's Seunghui, Minsol, and Dayo. Nothing separates them at the top of the leaderboard. Now, Yunji, remember, had some problems off the tee, could only sort of play back out towards the front of the green. So now a third shot at this par 3 for Jung. Oh, that sounded a little thin. As a result, not able to get any sort of grab on it. And what really isn't too difficult of a par 3 is giving Jung Yunji all sorts of trouble. Up to the next par 3 on the card, the 14th, and Kim Min-bill's got 6-iron to this right pin. Try and hoist one up high in the air if you want to take a direct aggressive line. See a lot of players looking out towards the middle of the green, so a sensible shot from Min-bill. Now Ga-young, a little gentle left to right breaker for her birdie at 11. Try to come back. Cast iron 3. Kim Min-sun 7. Saw her almost overpower the golf course when she got that victory. The Dukshin EPC Championship. So a club less than Min-bill. Little right. Pitch perfect. Now for bogey, ENG. No, not going to go. Just shows you that tee shot. I mean, what was it? 10 yards left of the green. Didn't lose a ball. Walks off with a 5. Just like that, Jung Min-ji tumbles 4 shots behind the 3 ladies standing back on the tee. Well, with ENG's struggles, these 3 have had some time to stew up on the hill at the 11th. Yeah, sensibly played towards the heart of the green for Seong Hui. When you're leading the tournament, that's your line on this par 3. You need to go pin seeking up to the 12th, and Lee Ga-young. So a couple of players going with less than driver yesterday. No option but to hit the big stick today with the soft conditions underfoot. That just stays in the right rough for Ga-young. Yeah, Min-sol has a wealth of experience to lean on. Playing on the Korean national team for a number of years. Only been a pro since January this year. She certainly made the most of it. Those 4 victories I was talking about on the Dream Tour. Shin-sil just crept it on the front edge with that second shot on 15. And gets it to drop for birdie. Bang Shin-sil making moves. She now joins Lee Ga-young in that share of 4th. Look out towards Ro Seong-hui's ball. Primarily likes to maneuver her flight from right to left. Pulls it, but keeps it off the path. Still not going to be the easiest up and down. ENG just got to shake off that ugly double on the card. Try to give herself a decent look here at 12. Leads the field this week in par 4 scoring average. And just peeling right. Should catch a piece of the fairway. Well, EA1's had quite the day. Two-time moneyless winner and last year's Player of the Year. 6 birdies on the card, including back-to-back circles on 16 and 17. Third shot now to the closing hole. Just took a bit of a funky bounce in that fringe, but we'll have that putt for a 65, and I don't think we're going to see many better than that. Unless, of course, Bang Shin-sil has a spectacular finish. She's 6 under for her round as well, standing up on this 16th tee. Now Minbil on 14. Just didn't have the speed required to make it up that little rise. The pars on this 14th hole, certainly not bad with that right hole location. Now Dion just surveying her options here. Much depends on the lie. It looks a little 50-50 at the moment. Maybe sitting down a touch. Slightly below the level of the green from that spot. It looks like she's going to be on a bit of a downslope as well. So it's going to lower the ball flight a little. I think she's got to... I don't think there's the option to try and bump it into the slope. It's too unpredictable with the softness of the ground. She's just got to try and lay that club face open and try and carry it onto the top of the crest, pitch it in the fringe, and then have it roll on down. But it looks like she's maybe considering the bump into the bank option, certainly from her hand gestures. And I'm not sure, you can see it's been resodded a little on the left hand side of the green. All it takes is an unlucky break, you pitching it in one of those groove marks where the new grass has been laid in, and that ball's going to be coming out dead. So a rare instance where I'd say you're taking the higher flighted shot from around the green is your better play. It's certainly going to be kicking away from her once it does land on the putting surface. This is not easy. Well, she made it look pretty easy. What touch from Lee Daeon. And you don't win as many times as she has on tour if you don't have a good short game. Now after that very aggressive tee shot at 14, Kim Min-sun 7 can't get it to go, and that's rolled another foot or two past. Rain appears to have returned, so complicating things even further for Lee Ga-young. It's a 5-iron, it's a little low, needs a big kick. She gets it. Brilliantly done from Lee Ga-young. Wasn't an easy shot she had. Back to Roh Seung-hui at 12. I believe it was Kim Soo-ji's putt. This one should go right to left most of the way, but just at the end, maybe a little influence where it tries to go back a fraction right. So let's call it a mini double breaker for Seung-hui, but again, From this range, you're just thinking about pace, all about speed control, especially on wet greens. It starts to go left there. Good putt. ENG, much easier to get to the back of the ball cleanly when you're coming out of the middle of the fairway. Great flight on that, kept it nice and low, knew it was going to chase on a little bit. Okay, Mensah. Always said never a bad time to make a first birdie of the day. This would be very handy indeed. Would get her back into the outright lead. But I think this putt should just fall a little to her right in the last couple of feet. Not bad, it's a decent putt. Simple par. Now can Yewon finish in style for a 65. No, she can't. Still, bogey-free 66 in tough conditions. Show you why she's a two-time player of the year. Supplanted at the top of the money list by Hong Jung-min. With her victory last week, Yewon keen to wrestle that top spot right back here at Fortune Hills. She's played herself right back into contention at 10 under par. Okay. Simple tap in for Seung Hui, keeps her at 14 under par. Now Shinsil up on 16. Can she inch closer? This is that sort of range putt where things are going your way. They tend to drop more often than not. Yeah, just didn't hit it. I cannot tell you how good that pitch shot was from Lee Daeon from the left-hand side of 11. That is a fantastic par save for E. This 13th hole is 12th hole. I just need to try to find this fairway. I know it sounds like a fairly obvious thing to state, but the penalty area left easily forces you out towards the right-hand side, but you catch a bit of a poor line that right rough, and things could get a little dicey. So just look on the inside line of that right-hand fairway trap. Doesn't miss many fairways. Ro Seung Hui, another one straight down the pipe. I think this is a sensible choice of club for Kim Min Sol. Keep it short of that bunker so she can just aim it straight at there and swing at this a little more aggressively. Natural ball flight is a little right to left. One of only 2 bogeys in her round yesterday coming on this hole. And that's a good break. Just that extra foot of roll to the left. That second shot so much easier. Dayon also going with a similar strategy. That looks like she's got a hybrid, so she's going to be content with a slightly longer second shot into this uphill green. She's going to have the same club in for her second. Interesting decision for Lee Dayon. Keen to see how that's going to pan out here on the 12th, Saturday afternoon at the BC Card Hankyung Ladies Cup. Meanwhile, up on the green, Chung Yun-ji with a good look for birdie. Gently uphill. Creeps a little from right to left. So Kim Min-bil on the 15th, not quite as far up as Bang Shin-sil, but she'll only have a wedge in. Flag cut tight to the front of the green, just 3 paces on. See a number of players just coming up a little short, trying to find that perfect pitch in the fringe. Have it skip on. Guyang after that superb approach from an awkward lie. Find the birdie. She's hit some good putts this back nine, Lee Guyang, but staying nice and patient. Kim Min-sun 7, almost identical shot to the one that just faced Kim Min-bil. Tossed it a little deep, pitches on the downslope, unable to get that to check.
실례하겠습니다.
How far back has Lee Dayon left herself here on 12. Remember, only went with hybrid off the tee. The longest time she carries is a 5, so I imagine it's that. Send this one up just right at the golf cart at the back of the green. Went after that hard. It looks like she's pulled this one a little bit. Well, we saw a bounce, and we know there's quite a bit of ground there between edge of the green and the penalty area. So that should be dry. That's what happens sometimes. Maybe in between clubs trying to force that 5-iron there. Just came over the top of it a little. Shut that face down. Roh Seung-hui said she loves hitting, fairway woods, and particularly these hybrids. One of the best on tour with these clubs in hand. And all the rain that we've had, the course is playing pretty soft, and there's not much breeze sort of swirling about. As long as the lie is nice and level, this is not a difficult shot at all from 147. Just abbreviated the follow through there, trying to trap that one a little bit. What I tell you about Roh Seung-hui and those hybrids, that is very nicely played. Edge of the fairway in salt. Even better than Seung-hui. I'll tell you what, that is such a difference. Being able to play out of the fairway than that ball just hanging in the rough. Had the option to be a little bit more aggressive, not worry about the release once the ball hit the green. Still, the play is tied at 14 under par. Ye Won in with round of the day, a bogey-free 66, and Bang Shin Sil into a tie for second. 6 under par for her round with 2 holes to play. Well, the good news for Dion is that ball actually kicked back down into a portion of this upslope, which isn't as severe that, as opposed to if she was caught up, you can see about 8-10 feet in front of her. Doesn't have to worry about this one grabbing too quickly. Can play for the release. Maybe land this about 15 feet short, just in that upslope. Have it run along. She really is a magician around the greens, Dion. The touch she has displayed anytime she's out of position has been immaculate. Just goes to show, hit it as long as you like, and there will be nothing that trumps the importance of a good short game. Couldn't draw it up any better than that. Across to the 13th. Bit of a respite this par 5. Wide landing spot off the tee. Just a forced layup. You know you're going to be having a wedge in hand. Maybe a bit more than that given the wet conditions today. Linsol, part of the winning team at the Women's World Amateur Team Championships 2 years ago, the Espiritu Santos Trophy in Abu Dhabi. That winning threesome. This year's championship will be contested in sunny Singapore, the 1st to the 4th of October. Sol Kyo-rin and Lee Hyo-sung, the two teammates back at the Abu Dhabi Golf Club. Hyo-sung, a winner on the KLPGA Tour as an amateur already, on the majors as well. What an achievement that was for young Hyo-sung. Now to 17, and Bang Shin-sil, just coming towards the end of her round, looking to leave herself within striking distance heading into tomorrow. Certainly wasn't shy from attacking the flagstick there. Costagna pitched it in the bottom of the cup. Now Seong-hui, excellent look. Just past pin high left, a putt that shouldn't do a whole lot break-wise. It's just about that right spot to roll it over in the first couple of feet and trusting your pace. This for the outright lead. It's a good putt, much like Linsol's, but it won't drop. And we remain deadlocked at 14 under between these three. Quickly across to 13, and Lee Ga-young with her layup. Pretty makeable chip for Kim Min-bill, just short of 15. Oh, didn't carry it far enough, got tangled up in that fringe. And that's one of those awkward length putts remaining for Min-bill to stay bogey free. You see that 13th hole there. Just send it away towards that first fairway. It looks narrow from that aerial shot, but I promise you it's a pretty wide landing zone. Again, good course management here from Kim Min-sol. Knows that driver's not necessary. So even if she absolutely stumped one, no chance of reaching this green. A 3-wood for position. Much like Lee Daeon, although Seung-hui has birdied this hole every single day. A little klutzy from Kim Min-sol. So a bit more cleaning up than she would have liked, but brushes that in very nicely. And Yunji, third shot up to this green at the 13th. Hole's cut only about 3 paces from a pretty severe slope. Got to make sure you get it onto the upper plateau. That's not going to make it. Down it'll come towards the front half. Shinsil just ran it through the back of the green on 17. Still a good look. Not her best putt. Back to 13 and Lee Daeon. Just make sure you're on the upper level of the green. Much easier putt than trying to hole one from in that swale. That's solid. That's good from Daeon. Now checking on Kim Soo-ji. Now back at 9 under par. See that new retooled little cut shot. Get it close to this pin. Good, if it has the legs. Could have done with maybe half a club more. Still pretty solid. This 13th hole, it's just presented very nicely in front of you. Super straightforward. What you see is what you get. No visual tricks, no architectural complexities to complain about. It's just, can you hit 3 solid shots and make a putt? That's what you need to do to make birdie here. Min-sol, you want to favor, if you can, the right half of this fairway. If you're in the left half of the fairway or the left rough, you just come over a slightly steeper part of that upslope to get to today's pin. That one certainly turning over. Left half of the fairway. Seung-hui. Imagine this is just a full send 3-wood for Rowe. Dayon. Long ways up there. And she'll get it up another level on this multi-tiered upslope fairway towards that green. So all three players in good position with their seconds up on the green. This is just a good old-fashioned slow putt for Jung-Yun-ji up that steep tier, and then it just sort of continues on when you do get to that second level. And all things considered, made a good fist of things there. Let's go to the final hole, and Park Min-ji, like year one, is having a lovely day, and she's able to birdie the last hole. 6 birdies and a drop shot in Min-ji's round. Very good round of 67 for the 19-time titleist on tour. He has only had 3 top 10s this season. Very un-Min-ji-like performance. Guy Young, outside look on the 13th. Putt slows up quite a bit in the last few feet. And she was after that one quickly. Knew she started just a fraction too far left. Three-time winner on tour. Got that 3rd title at the Celtrion Queen's Masters, dethroning Park Min-ji back at the start of June. Min-ji having won that event 4 years on the bounce. Guy Young having a very consistent season on tour. Inside the top 10 on the money list. 5 top 10s in her season. Kang Chae-yeon, one of those players, quietly putting together a pretty solid day. This is a birdie putt on 16. Kang Chae-yeon now gets to 11 under par. 3 of the 5 par 3s today. It's some display of golf. See that left half of the green. This 2-tiered putting surface at the 13th hole. And the only way to get it close is be really greedy. Try and carry it just past the crest of the slope. And leave it and sort of pitch it short of the pin. And that's not the percentage play, and Roh Seung-hui would know that. Looks to be some kind of 7-iron coming up the hill. Yeah, you try to be too perfect, and that's the result. A putt from the lower level. Let's see if Minsol can do any better. Just by virtue of being on a little bit more of the upslope, this one's going to be sort of an up-shooting trajectory, come down a lot softer. You see this releasing on too much, so it's absolutely vital that she lands this on that upper deck. She's not going to get any run up towards it. It has to be all carry. Nope. That's going to funnel back away from the pin. I've actually seen her 2 co-leaders come up a little shy. Far and away the most successful and the most experienced of the 3 in this final group. Lee Dayon, I'd be shocked if this one ended up down where those other 2 balls are. She knows the play. Very good from Lee Dayon. They're out wide, but easier putt from the correct level of this green. Bang Shin Sil, tee shot ended up just through the fairway in the rough. I know that she's got the firepower to reach in too. 187 meters to go. Contact sounded decent. Just hung that out a little wide right. And that's short-sided to that pin position. Not a foregone conclusion, and that's going to be a birdie look from inside of 8 feet. Now to 14, and Gai Young should be a 6-iron for her. Started at the flag, but it's drifting. Gets a nice kick and ends up in Kim Min Sun's 7 country. Back in 14, Jung Yun-ji. Don't need to go chasing this pin like Gai Young did. A great tee shot yesterday to about 4 feet. That flag was in the front left of the green, much simpler location. This one on a pretty good line. It's pretty solid. 2 good shots on this 14th hole from Lee Gai Young and Jung Yun-ji. Well, nothing to break the deadlock at 14 under par, but the contenders are starting to line up behind them here on the back 9 Saturday afternoon at Fortune Hills. Oh, very hard to convince yourself to hit these sort of putts hard enough, especially when you're dealing with the pressure of being in a share of the lead. But she's managed that pretty well, Kim Min-sol. Now, Kang on 17. Well, has an idea of the pace, watching Min-sol's putt. Oh Seung-hui just has to replicate. Much better effort, much more positive. Good try. And lay the club face open, just slip that lob wedge under the ball, try and get it to pop out high and soft. I still think she's got to land this in the fringe to have any chance of getting it close. And almost played it too well. What hands from big hitting Bang Shin-sil. That putt to post the low round of the day for a 65. Daeon. This putt should move right to left, but just at the hole it should be pretty straight, maybe even moving right, just by virtue of the severity of that ridge that Min-sol and Seung-hui had to negotiate. Pace-wise, it's a lot easier to judge. It looks like it tries to turn and then it just hangs on to that high side. The deadlock at 14 under, unlikely to be broken on the par 5 13th. Why don't we head up to the par 3 14th, and Jung Yun-ji trying to get herself back in the conversation after that good tee shot. Oh, wow, that moved hard from right to left. Good putt. Again, just the green's losing a bit of pace with the moisture on the surface. It just means that there's going to be more, the break is going to be more of an influence and a factor. And so safely in with her 5. The slower balls traveling, the more gravity and the slopes on these greens are going to affect them. So you need to allow for a little bit more break than usual. Too much on that occasion for Lee Ga-young. Now Min Byul need to land this so halfway between front edge of the green and that back pin. Pitch on a bit of a downslope so you can shoot this one forward. Boy, you've only got a wedge in hand. You can throw it all the way there with spin. Nicely controlled from Kim. Now Shin-sil for a 65. I was battling to make the cut a week ago at the Mediheal Hankook Hilbo Championship. Took the weekend off. She is battling for a second title of the year. Helped along by that excellent round of 65. Putting was a thing of the past for Bang Shin-sil, who will be 13 under par heading into the final round tomorrow. You just see that dangerous pin position on the 14th. You come out of it a little, your strike's not solid, you come up short right, it's almost an impossible up and down from that greenside bunker. I mean, you can see from this camera angle at the back of the green, there is so much room left of this pin. No need to be a hero, not on Saturday anyway, and challenge this hole. I'd like to think that Mercedes Avant-Garde hole-in-one prize should be safe for at least another day. Unless, of course, Ro Seung-hoo's got a hybrid. We know she can pretty much access any hole location with those particular clubs. And it should be Seung-hoo's honor. These three players matching each other shot for shot since making the turn. Yep, there she is. Quick swig of water, and well, looks like she's got a hybrid out. Wonder how aggressive she's going to be, and especially the fact that you can see that flag up on the green, just hanging limp right now. Not a breath of wind at Fortune Hills at this stage of play. This is aggressive. Oh, straight over it from Ro Seung-hoo. Minsole. Greens are pretty soft. But again, just be sensible here, especially with the 7-iron. Nothing wrong with being 10, 15 feet pin high left. Could be a little finicky. Looks to be taking dead aim as well. Short-sided, not ideal. That one much more left of the pin than Minbel's, and that is the ideal spot to be putting from, or to leave yourself. Not her first rodeo, Lee Daeon. That experience is showing right now as we go up to 15, and Kim Soo-ji. Get a good amount of spin on this. Just a hard sand wedge from 91 meters. Got to fly it just past front edge. Like that. Brilliant from Soo-ji. She's made many putts of this length already, Kang Chae-yeon. Not going to happen there on 17 though. She's sniffing about, keeping the leaders honest within 3. 5/18 to come. Now, Gayang on the 15th. Definitely want to be coming out of the fairway to a front hole location. And that's the first half of the equation done. Stella second on 17, but Minbo, putter is going cold, has not made a Has not picked up a shot on her card since her hole out 2 for eagle on the 8. That is 9 straight pars for the 2023 Rookie of the Year. Deep into the back nine, Saturday afternoon at the 11th BC Card Hankyung Ladies Cup. A three-way tie for the top spot. Roh Seung-hui, Kim Min-sol and Lee Dae-yeon deadlocked at 14 under par. It's going to be a testy little one for Kim Min-sol. Short-sided, not a great lie, but working off the upslope. See, got that big hump in front of her. She either tries to pitch this in the fringe and have that take some of the sting out of this chip shot. I'm going to lay the face open, play the big old Phil Mickelson flop from short side. Percentage play would indicate just let the loft of the club do the work for you. Try and drop this in the fringe and have it kick onto the green. Need some soft hands here. You need Lee Dae-yeon touch from this position. Carried that a little bit longer than I thought, but the softness of the green's working to her advantage there. Good chip. Be a relatively straightforward par now. Back to Im Hee-jung at the 15th. An outside birdie look from 20 feet. In you go, Im Hee-jung. Fighting away. Now to double digits under par. That tee shot would look so good to Roh Seung-hui in the air, straight at the flagstick, just pitched about 8 yards too long. A gentle rising uphill putt that breaks off to the right. Gotta keep going, gotta keep going. Just don't think that was struck solidly. It made a weird sound off the putter, maybe a toe strike. Making things a little hard for herself on 14, up to 15, and Jung Yun-ji. I expect she's in a flag hunting mood from this position in the fairway. Very nicely done. Oh, played the right shot off the tee, Lee Dae-yeon. This is a slow putt, just from this angle. Looking a little uphill. Greens have lost some speed with that downpour that we had right around the turn. So I can afford to give this one a little bit more speed. That was positive. That's still not enough. Right on line 2 for Dae-yeon. Dae-yeon about 8 yards closer than Jung Yun-ji. And a couple feet closer on the green. Pair of excellent wedge shots from the two of them. little unnecessary stress facing Ro Seung-hui at this par 3. He's found these a little uncomfortable. Just falls away a little right. Again, knowing that this is uphill and slower greens, you're almost forced to start it outside the hole because you know that it's going to slow up quicker and then take that break. Got to be firm with it. And there it goes. Unforced error, and that leaves just 2 at 14 under. Seung-hui slips back to 13 under par. Bang Shin still on that mark already, but she's got no further golf to play this afternoon. Now Park Ji-young in reverse, doubles on 10 and the 12th. And that birdie is going to get her back to 8 under. Kang Chae-eun right rough on 18. Lie looks okay. Got to look out towards the front left of the green here. I'm going to stop it in a direct line with the flag. A sensible shot. Just open up the angle a little. Give yourself some room to work with. Hong Ji-won. First look at her today. And for good reason. Nice birdie there for Hong. Starting to string them together. It's her 3rd in 5 holes and 5th for moving day. Now to 15T, and Lee Da-yeon. Hole sets up nicely to her eye. Next to move this driver from right to left. Played this hole 3 under this week. If you recall the opening round, Kim Min-sol, second shot rattled off the flagstick, somehow didn't go in. Yesterday, it did. There's just something about this par 4 that is resonating with the 19-year-old this week. Just gotta shake it off now. Seung-hui. Still 4 holes to play. Some opportunities remaining. Mingo well down the fairway at 18. Ball below her feet should help her slide this one in, but she's lost it right early, heading towards that greenside bunker. And actually, I think she'd rather be in the bunker, because that is going to be finicky from the wet rough. Now, Park Ji-young. This was a few moments ago. Getting her back to 8 under par. Hasn't made a bogey today, just the 2 doubles. Now Kim Min Sun 7. Was really nestled down. Easy to catch these off the top of the club face. Come out with no forward momentum at all. Yeah, that is... I'd rather prefer Kang Chae-eun from the left-hand side of the hole. No green to work with for either Kim Min Sun 7 or Min Byul ENG. To get back to 11 under. Yeah, it's very good. It's pretty tight. First 2 pages of the leaderboard. Not much in it. And Kim Soo-ji, eke ever closer. This is a chance on 16. Just drifting low. Yeah, at the moment, 14 players within 5 shots of the lead. Lee Ga-young could get within 1. She will. Very solid back 9 performance from Lee Ga-young. Sees her up into a now 3-way tie for 3rd with Bang Shin-sil and Roh Seong-hui. Here is Seong-hui. Into the 15. A little in between clubs, trying to take something off this club. And she's played that wonderfully. That's more like it from Roh, who's just made the 1 birdie today. Coming back on the 8th. Die on right edge of the fairway. As long as the number is good here for a full shot, we should expect her to get this one in fairly tight. On an 8, probably just a hard wedge for E. With her short game, anything's possible. I would not be surprised to see her chip that one and just take the unpredictability of a ball bouncing through the fringe out of the equation. Now, to put things into context, each of the last 2 days, Kim Min-sol's 2nd shot on this hole has hit the pin. Couldn't possibly do it a 3rd day in a row, could she? Stranger things have happened in this game. It's just a 50-degree pitching wedge from 88 meters, identical yardage to what Bang Shin-sil had when she came through this par 4. Oh, would have looked good in the air, just needed another 2 yards. So, Hankyung up on the 16th tee with a 7-iron. Flag still on that left half of the green, not quite as tucked as it was for yesterday's second round, and it's not deterred Hankyung from hitting another stunning iron. As predicted, Dion going to chip this one. Just going to get hands raised a little bit, toe down in technique. Found its way into short game schools these days. When she had it online, just didn't hit it. Concept of toe down chipping, just that you've got less surface area. It needs to slip under the ball, easier to get the toe under the ball, especially with short shots around the greens from scruffy lies. Give it a try the next time you tee it up. Wingy, this one out a little right, trying to work back, but it's the unlucky kick off that side slope. Still not a bad tee shot for Jung. Also chipping this one, Kim Min Sol. Just didn't fly it far enough on the green. Okay, it's only going to be the par 4 today on 15 for Kim Min Sol. Now Kim Min Sun's 7 really didn't have much of a shot from out of that right rough over the bunker. Pitched up to here. This for a birdie. It was tracking. It looks like Kim Min Sun 7 is going to have to settle for just the round of 69. Would have hoped for better, being 4 under through her first 7 holes. Not a birdie since then, and a drop shot on 9 leaves her in a share of 15th. Still very much in the conversation as things stand within 5 going into Sunday. Now Ro Seung Hui to get herself back into a tie for the lead. Yeah, very good response to that bogey on the 14th. Seung Hui back to 14 under. Putt's going to have some influence from that slope that Yunji caromed off, so it will be peeling to the right as it loses pace. Oh, off the coin of Hankyung, still rolled a good 4 feet past. Did not play a good pitch shot from that left-hand side. Kang Chae-yun, not even on the green yet, putting for birdie. She's unable to find a 4 at the last. Still a really nice round of golf from Kang Chae-yun, who's gotten better every single day. Opened her week with a 70, 68 yesterday. It'll be a bogey-free round of 67 today for Kang. Now Hankyung to make it a 4-way tie for the lead. Be just outside left edge. She started left edge, just hit that a touch firm. But they're positive putts. They always look like they've got a chance. Giving yourself enough looks, eventually one's going to drop. Min Byul played some pitch shot to leave herself this putt for birdie from the short side. Not the best attempt at line reading, so just 3 pars to end the rounds of Min Sun 7. Chae-yun and Kim Min Byul. 57 for her as well, in all likelihood. She'll be teeing it up alongside Kang Chae-yun for the 2nd straight day this week. Now Yunji, the comebacker for par. Okay, slips that in nicely. Despite that brilliant tee shot, just settles for the par 3. Hankyung. You see that a lot in South Korea. A lot of water features. Not all of them come into play necessarily. You take a really poor tee shot to find the big penalty area left of the green. Not going to be a factor for players of this caliber. So Roh Seung-hui back into a tie for the lead at 14 under par. We'll have the honour. You saw from the tee shots of Lee Ga-young and Chung Yun-ji in the group ahead. He landed on line with this flag a couple yards short. It does take a very big kick to the right. So really the way to access this pin is either throw it out left, hope for a gentle kick. You try and turn one in against that slope. That's pretty solid from Roh Seung-hui. She's got the shot to try and turn one in off the right, Kim Min-sol. Just the fact that the conditions were so tricky through the first half of the round, it really helped sort of neutralize that poor start that she had. If the conditions were similar to the first 2 days, she would be quite a long ways back off the pace in the birdie bonanza that we saw. But just the fact that scoring pace has calmed down a little bit means she's still got a tie for the lead. That's excellent. Great shot. Dayan certainly has that right to left shape in her. It's 2 excellent tee shots by her playing partners already. It surprised me one bit to see this little lady follow them in. It's a 7-iron as well for E. Went for the tee pretty quick, Lee Ga-young. Didn't need to watch that one. She knew that was nigh on perfect. Awkward, 1 foot in the bunker, 1 foot out for Hong Ji-won. Just played that one very nicely. Not going to be a 3rd birdie in a row to close, but that will be yet another round of 67. And that'll leave her nicely placed going into Sunday at 11 under par, alongside the likes of Kang Chae-yeon and Kim Min-pyo, who completed their rounds in the group ahead. Also on that 11 under par mark is Jung Yun Ji. She's still got the par 5 18th to come. At first, the 17th. Oh, she's leaking that right. Needs to get lucky. It's not going to. Yeah. Kim Min Ju. Haven't seen anything of her today. Not sure why she's bogey free on her round. 4 under par. That should be a pretty much guaranteed par for a round of 68. Three good birdie opportunities on 16. It looks like it's going to be Ro Seong Hui first to go. She's going to have the only putt that is a little downhill. I want to say this putt just falls left near the cup. I don't think it's as much as the players think. You look up from where she's standing right now and you see the influence of that slope just past the hole, but that's not going to be affecting the break on this putt. Not as much as the players think anyway. Just the par. Last week's winner, Hong Jung Min, got off to a solid start this week. She's been rather tepid since then. She'll sneak it on the green into on the closing hole. Dropped 4 shots today, Hong Jung Min. It's still 1 under for her round. Dion will have to negotiate that slope that I described a little earlier on, so it will be pushing the ball towards the right. That is the apex of her line that a caddy was just pointing at. Being the high point, everything from there should start to feed right. But you're putting over, sort of across a little spine like this. Speed absolutely critical. A little too much base over that spot. It's just going to stay high. Not enough conviction, and that's going to die off low with no chance. Good stroke. Great line. Finally, a little separation at the top of the leaderboard. Lee Daeon, 1 clear for the moment. Jung Yun-ji visibly frustrated after leaking that tee shot right. With a back left pin, she can use the length of the green, try and get this to release. Well, that sounded a touch clunky. Takes a hop, skip, and a jump through the rough, ends up on the front edge of the green, and that's going to be a monster putt. Remember, she made about a 50-footer here yesterday, and that's going to be even longer than the birdie putt she had on day 2. So, Daeon up at 15 under par again. Kim Min Sol with a reasonable look to join Daeon and share of that lead and get her first birdie of the day. Certainly the straightest putt of the 3 on this green. And she finally rolled one in. End the birdieless drought. Yes, she can. The long-awaited first birdie of the weekend takes Kim Min-sol back alongside Lee Daeyeon, who had the solo lead for all of, what was that, a minute and a half? Yeah, back to the fairway on 17, and Lee Daeyeon. Much flatter ball flight than some of her peers on the KLPGA Tour. Just tossed out an anchor a little quick, but still going to be a good look. Min-sol, Daeyeon back out in front of Roh Seung-hui after their birdies on the 16th hole. Bang Chin-sil with a round of the day has posted 13 under par in the Clubhouse. Should feel a little better after that birdie on 16. Kim Min-sol still 1 over par for her day. Uh-oh, let's hope that's not careening left. It looks like it. Just burrowed into the rough. Jung Yoon-ji. Monster length putt up ahead on the green. Putt will come down a little tier. Look at that, outside of 75 feet. Base looks pretty good. And from that range, that is very nicely judged. Daeyeon again, these right to left holes set up nicely for that pat draw. And that one started left of target. But just the fact she's got that lower ball flight, gets on the ground earlier, stays in the fairway. Up on the green, Daeyeon to get within 1. good looking putts this back nine. There's only one birdie to show for it. I can't be disheartened that she finds herself trailing again. Ro Seong Hui is right there, trails by only a single shot. Nice to see the sun peeking through the clouds as well. Shadow for the first time over Ro Seong Hui. Well, that is probably her worst drive of the day into some of the thickest rough you'll see on this back nine. Down to the last in Hong Jong Min for eagle. Set the new 72-hole scoring record on the KLPGA Tour at 29 under par with her victory last week. And despite a couple of drop shots today, that should be a round of 70 for the now three-time winner. ENG for a very good two-putt par. Very well done for Jung Yoon-ji. Statistically, more likely to three-putt it from 75 feet than two-putt it. So she's gained a shot with that. Go Ji-won, part of the Go sister duo on the KLPGA Tour. Winner after her triumph on Jeju Island. Third straight round in the 60s for her. Hong Jong Min, her bid to go back-to-back on the tour this year. It's going to take something really special tomorrow afternoon. Just on the fringes of contention at 9 under par after a Saturday 70. Well, where's that hole location on 17? Way in that back left corner. And for Ro Seong Hui, just the fact that she's in the left rough, not the right, means that she's going to have the entirety of that cavernous bunker to go over. Dion, the only player in this group to successfully hit the fairway. Again, you can just sort of start one maybe on the inside right edge of the bunker with a little turning draw. Land this maybe 15-20 feet short. Let's play for a bit of chase. Knock that flight down. Get it running. Well, hit her landing spot, but like we saw with Lee Young, that came to an abrupt stop with these soft greens. Ball sitting up a little bit in the rough, which should help Ro Seong Hui. She needs to look out right here. This is going to be turning over with the ball above her feet. It just carries it over the bunker. And she's played an excellent shot from that position. Could not have pitched that in a better spot. Looking live for Kim Min Sol. Gonna have to just steepen up the angle of attack here. Make sure you chop down on the back of the ball. Get as little grass caught between club face and ball as possible. Maximize your control. And did the right thing, going long into this pin position. Much better than being in that bunker short. So, at the home hole, Lee Young. Looks concerned. There's trouble down the right. She's avoided a real big penalty. It's okay. Should be a layup anyway from that spot. I think she can actually land this on the green, Kim Min-sol, even though it's only about 6 yards of room to work with. Open that club face up. She tried to bump it through the fringe. Pretty solid. Up at the home hole. Third shot for Kim Soo-ji. Unlucky, just took a skid off the downslope. Die on. Min-sol not stone dead for par yet. Could potentially see a two-shot swing here if this one goes for E. Does it come back from out there? He tried. Certainly tried. Good effort. Hankyung. There's a couple of third place finishes this year on tour. Been a much better performance in 2025 than it was last season for the 5-time champ as we go back to Ro Seung-hui. Could not have asked for a better result after that tee shot. Now is a chance to tie Dion at the top of the leaderboard once more. It's been a real ding-dong game of musical chairs between these three in the final group. Ro Seung-hui will see her name move back up into a tie at 15 under par. Just have to settle for a par at the closing hole. In Hankyung, little drop shot coming back at 10, round of 70 today. Just for her psyche, this is a really important putt for Kim Min-sol. Slow start, hung around, stayed patient, finally makes her first birdie of the day at 16. Do not want to give it straight back on the very next hole. Inside left lip. Okay, consolidates the birdie with a nice up and down at 17, and as they were for most of the back nine, these three ladies share the lead. With just one hole to play on day 3. Kim Soo-ji, 29 years of age now, 6-time winner on tour. Stay up. Oh, Soo-ji short in the jaws again. After that red hot start, it's just been a couple of 71s for Soo-ji. It's fallen off the pace a little. Young got 3 wood. Waiting back in the fairway. Coming out of that right rough. Choi Ka-bin. Can't get to 10 under. It wasn't for lack of trying. The ball grabbed a piece of the hole and just stubbornly refused to drop. So 9 under par through 3 rounds. The green is clear. Guy Young set to go. Got to look left here. No sense in going straight at the pin. That's the clever shot. Get it chasing. Open up the angle. Use the lighter advantage then. He was going to come out knuckling. Jung Yoon-ji looks like she's set to play. We're also heading up towards the left half of the green and cutting a little. Not going to skip all the way on. And we saw Kim Soo-ji have some struggles from that tight spot just short of the green yesterday. So you have to have your wits about you. Theory on paper, that's pretty elementary, but contact will be key. Now Park Ju-young just bogeyed 16. Know that she doesn't lack for power, this 35-year-old. Flies that onto the front edge, so an eagle chance to end what's been a bit of an up and down day for Park. 2 over for the round. So, back on the tee. Your final group. Your 3 co-leaders with one hole to play on Super Saturday. Tee's been moved up on the 18th, so seen a couple more players able to reach this par 5 and 2. You've got to find the fairway. And that has just about stayed on the straight and narrow. Eagled this hole in the opening round for that course record 62. And that's from the back tee, so she's certainly going to be able to reach if this one finds the fairway. Kim Min Sol a little anxious as that heads down the right side. Oh, look at that. Carries the bunker in the middle of the fairway. Look at the difference between that tee shot and Ro Seong Hui's. I mean, Kim Min Sol's just going to have an iron into this green. And not a very long one at that. And those cross bunkers right in Dion's landing zone. You find them. It's layup city, so it's her only thing she's got to be worried about here. I'd say she has to go right of them. And slots that down the right side, and that's a very nice kick back into play. There were sparse crowds, and the rain was pitter-pattering down. Good to see a couple more have ventured out onto the golf course to watch this brilliant back-nine battle between the final three ball. Should be in for a treat tomorrow. Championship Sunday in the 1.5 billion won BC Card Hankyung Ladies Cup, the 11th edition of this championship. Down just short of the green is Lee Gai-young, up and down here, gets it to 14 under. A couple players do that, they just throw it into the upslope and it kills all the forward kick that ball gets. With the slower greens, just not able to get the release on. Haven't been able to separate these three all afternoon. It looks like the three of them are going to have each other's company once again in the final round tomorrow with the KLPGA Tour title on the line. Now, clean strike required for Jung Yoon Ji from this tight fringe. Just moved that back into stance, trapped it a little more. Sensible shot from Jung. Two putts from here. Will be a 73 for Park Joo-young. Not thinking about making it really, just trying to match up that speed. I'd say she's done a pretty good job of that. A number of double bogeys in this group. Park Joo-young with 2, Jung Yoon Ji with One back at the par 3 11th. Really curious to see what number Kim Min Sol has in for the second shot. Stonking drive from the teenager. Now Guyong. Let's just hope she's saving all her putts for Sunday, because she has gotten no breaks on this back nine. 69 for Lee Guyong. She'll be in the penultimate group tomorrow afternoon. Jung Yun-ji will have a putt to try and be in that position again. Bang Shin-sil will round out that group, very much down to Yun-ji or Hong Ji-won right now. As the final three ball go through their calculations. Leading back in the fairway. Don't need to give the hole away here, Yun-ji. Inside right lip with pace. Very good. Very good up and down. Jung Yun-ji birdies her last 4 rounders, 71. You take out that double bogey on 11. She's a little higher up that leaderboard. Still very much in the title picture. And for Park Ju-young, you just look back at double bogeys, unplayable lie on 10 and misadventures at 12. You just sort of wonder what kind of day it might have been for the 35-year-old, but at least she should end Saturday on a positive note. This for a 2-putt birdie at the last. Yep, well done. So just 3 players left out on the golf course, and it should be Ro Seung-hui first to go. Just left edge of the grandstand, the red grandstand, I think would be the line for Seung-hui. Started well, they're trying to hit the big banana ball, but she might have overworked this. Dion can launch it a little higher with a faster club head speed than Seung-hui, but she still has to play left. In her mind, she's thinking Min Sol certainly not going to make any worse than 5, more than likely going to make 4, so needs to find a 4 of her own first. Easier to do it from the left than short-sided right. That is launched, but that is well left. Okay. It's a good leave for Dion. Kim Min Sol just has a hybrid in. It's going to be a little cut from 178. Seems like a lot of club. She's going to really have to massage one in here. This is off on a terrific line. If it's got the number. Excellent from Kim Min Sol. An eagle opportunity awaits on the last. Can she replicate the feat of her closing 3 on Thursday? It's Ro, Kim, and E who share the lead at 15 under par, heading up towards the final green here on Saturday at Fortune Hills. No, the only risk that Ro Seung-hui runs from this spot on 18 is just trying to get a little too cute. You don't want to try to be too perfect here and sort of whiff this one into that bunker. Still got a lot of golf to play tomorrow afternoon. She needs to be trying to land this on the green, ideally somewhere between edge of the fringe and the pin. But the mistake here is to come up short. Rather be a little bit long, leave yourself some kind of 10-15 footer. That's well done. Maybe a little unlucky, taking a big kick out of that fringe cut. She's given herself a look. That's all you can ask for. Gotta say, I like the way that they've set up the 18th hole today. Yes, they've pushed the tee up, made it shorter, more reachable, but you've tucked that flagstick by the bunker. You're not seeing as many birdies as you would initially suspect. You're being told that 18's going to play shorter today. So really good course management setup, course setup decision by the organising committee. Now options here for Lee Daeon. Don't have to play this with your most lofted club. Could just take a pitching wedge, maybe even a 9-iron, hit the old school bump and run. The lie's clean enough. I don't think putt's the option from here. Not when you got her short game. She's looking like maybe that ball's in a bit of a depression. It's some kind of wedge, not her most lofted one, but she's playing this well off the back foot. Maybe there's something sort of underneath or around the ball that we can't quite see on our screens. The good news is there's lots of room to work with here. Trying to pick out a good landing spot and trust the release. Bad. Not her best, but Not bad at all for Dayon, especially if that lie was a little bit worse than expected. This would be a roof-raising way to end moving day for Kim Min Sol. The second eagle of the week on the par 5 18th, and to go into Sunday as the solo leader. Had a look. Great try. It's not about how you start your day. It's about how you end it. Even though Kim Min Sol found herself 2 over par early doors, a couple of birdies on 16 and now on 18. Keep her at 16 under par going into Championship Sunday. She's going to have at least a share of the lead. Figure Dayon and Roh Seung-hui, one of those two are going to make their birdie putts. She'll give it a lovely run though, Kim Min Sol, and I think she's going to take a lot of confidence from the way that she's performed under pressure coming into the weekend with a championship lead. And after that difficult start, to steady the ship, remain patient and finish strong. Expected to come out all guns blazing for tomorrow's final round. Seung-hui starting Sunday tied or 1 back. This right to lefter for a closing birdie. Why be tied? Why be content being 1 back when you can be tied? Lovely birdie. Great up and down from a tricky spot for Roh Seung-hui. She's at 16 under par as well. At least 2 players start Sunday 16 under. Maybe 3. By virtue of this excellent burst of scoring over the last couple of holes, these 3 front runners have separated themselves a little bit from the chasers, Hankyung and Shin-sil. At 13 under. Dayon to match Roh Seung-hui's 2 under par 70. Brilliant. Why not? A hat trick of birdies. 3 different ways to do it on the 18th hole. And like it's been for pretty much the entirety of our show this afternoon. Ro Seong-hui, Kim Min-sol, and Lee Dae-yeon will take equal shares of the lead into the final round of the 11th BC Card Hankyung Ladies Up. Terrific stuff right at the end from the three of them. Combined, they have played the last 4 holes in 7 under par. To think there was only 4 birdies between them in the first 15. So let's look back on the best from moving day here at Fortune Hills. We'll start with the early struggles of Kim Min-sol. This was her opening tee shot, sleeping on a 2-shot lead. And it well left into the spot of bother. Off the cart path and up the side of the mountain. Did well to limit the damage to just a bogey. The early nerves taking a bit of a rattling. And it was an early 2-shot swing. Lee Dae-yeon. A birdie to Min-sol's bogey. Just like that, the 2-shot lead evaporated. And at the 4th, Dae-yeon would find a chip in from the front edge of the green at the par 3. Kim Min-sol, she would have some struggles. A second bogey and a second 2-shot swing between the pair of them. Get up to the 8th and a couple of groups further up. Kim Min-bol already 3 under par for her round at this point. Make it 5 under par with a hole out eagle 2 to send the crowd wild. Shin-sil was also getting things going early. Yes, a 6th birdie of her front 9. And the real surprise contender, you have to say, was Kang Chae-eun, bogey-free on her day. This her 5th and final birdie of Saturday at the 16th. She'll go into Championship Sunday at 11 under par. Good day's work as well for Hong Ji-won. 5 birdies and around a 67. Pops her into the 3rd to last group. Young. She was playing some excellent golf, having nothing working with the putter. Thankfully, an excellent approach yielded a birdie on the 15th, her lone birdie on the back 9. 69 for Guy Young, chasing a 2nd victory of the season. This was the time when the final 3 balls started to come alight. Ro Seong-hui entering the chat. That birdie pushing her back into a share of the lead, but it wasn't for long. Lee Dae-yeon on the 16th rolled this beautiful putt in to take the outright lead. When I say the outright lead, it was only lasted about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes long, because Kim Min-sol, after 15 holes of grinding, finally put a birdie on her scorecard. So Min-sol and Dae-yeon at 15 under par. Ro Seong-hui, not one to be left out. Beautiful shot out of the left rough and a nice putt that moved her back into a 3-way share at the top. Up at the last. Huge tee shot, only a hybrid into the green. Kim Min Sol couldn't do what she did on Thursday. Eagle putt just drifting past. But the birdie would put her first into the clubhouse at 16 under. Ro Seung Hui then matched with a birdie of her own. And Lee Dae-yeon would oblige with the same. So a birdie blitz from the final 3-ball. Nothing to separate them. 16 under par, a 3-way tie for the lead with 18 holes to play. Join us tomorrow for the thrilling conclusion of the BC Card Hankyung Ladies Cup here at Fortune Hills. Have a wonderful Saturday evening ahead, and we'll see you tomorrow on the KLPGA Tour. This is Timothy Lowe. Bye-bye for now.